Okay, hi, shalom aleichem to everyone. A long time no see. And should have only b'suras tovas. Okay, a little bit chilly outside. Okay. I think it feels more cold than it really is, no? It's not much cold, right? Like penetrates. Because of the what? The wind. אני נהיה חולה רוח. Okay. Tell me where to go. I'll go where I should go here? That's better? Bakasha, bakasha. Okay, Rabbi Say. Today I want to learn with you inside two Yesodistic areas on a Rashi that we all know very, very well from childhood. Let's give a look. On the pasuk V'Ekbarei Hashem, so we have it on page 1. Again, I apologize for the quality of the page. There's sometimes a line missing or not clear. Let's give a look at Rashi. V'Ekbarei Hashem. Says Rashi on page 1 on the third line. V'lo l'chtia afilu l'beis lechem l'chnisa la'aretz. V'yadati sheyesh b'libcha alai. Says Yaakov Avinu to Yosef, I know you have a tightness of me. Page 1. In the Rashi. Oh, yeah. Okay. I know that you have tightness on me. אבל דע לך שעל פי הדיבור כבר תהיה שם, שתהיה לעזרה לבניה כשיגלה אותם מבוסדרן. בבית ראשון. והיו עוברים דרך שם. יוצא רוחל על קברו ובויכו ומבקש עליהם רחמים, שנאמר כל ברמה נשמע בגוימר, והקדוש ברוך הוא משיבה יש שכר לפעולתנו מהשם ושבו בנים לגבולם. We know that Rashi doesn't bring anything if it's not echoed in the text. Where did you get the story from? What says in the pasuk that brings you the story? בארץ כנען, ומת על הרחב בארץ כנען, בעוד כמעט ארץ בו אפרתה, והגברה שם בדרך אפרסי בזכם. What promoted Rashi to say this? No, but Rashi is text oriented, right? Everything has to go back to the text.
Why does Yaakov need to mention the whole for us Rachel at all?
Why not? To say, listen, why is it mentioned? But maybe saying, okay, here you can say that, I guess. We give a look what the Maral says in letter Yud Bet. Avadalacha midichtiv v'kberei Hashem. V'lo avlim michtav v'kbadech. Sham means specifically there. The next word on page 3 is v'kberei Hashem b'derech Efrat. אלא שם פירושו דווקא היה ראוי לקבוע אותה שם בדרך ולא במקום אחר. והיינו תמה כמו שמפרש באזיל. Okay, meaning you see the pasuk is alluding to the fact that there's something that had to be there. It's not stam that she was not buried where she was, but that she was buried there. There, okay, that gives you the liberty to say that there's something intrinsic about that place. Fine. Now the Ram goes on, and he's going to say a big aside, Rabbi Side, which, leave to him. First I'll ask the question, which is a classic Maral. Why is it Rachel the one who's crying? Out of the 12 Shvatim, she has 2. Leah has 6. So why is she the one crying? Why dafka her? Okay, says the Maral. Again, a medrash that we all know. אמר שם, לפי שרחני ממנו אומרת להקדוש ברוך הוא, מה עשו בניי שכך הבאת להם פורענות? Why did they do so terribly that you are punishing so severely? אם בשביל עבודה זרה שנקראת, there's a resh missing out of the word שנקראת, it's a typo, and it will have to be fixed one day. אם בשביל עבודה זרה שנקראת צרה, how would you translate צרה in this context? Like 2 wives that, so what צרה means? Yeah? A little bit rivalry, yeah. הלא אהבתי אישי יעקב ועבד בי 7 שנים ולבסוף נתן אבי לו את אחותי לאישה, we're on page 2 now, וקיבלתי אהבתי לבעלי, in this context it means I was מוותר, ומסרתי הסימנים לאחותי, I gave over the סימנים to my צרה, אני בשר ודם ואתה מלך רחמן, הלך אז כמה וכמה שתרחם עליהם, והקדוש ברוך הוא משיב יש שכר לפעולותיך ושבו בנים מארץ אויב. So I said, let's again just see that the childish understanding is not enough. According to, what is Leah saying? I'm sorry, what is Rachel saying? I gave over the Siman to Leah. Yeah? So therefore you should be Meichel Avodah Zarah? But I told him in advance not to do it. It's one of the three cardinal averes. It's the second Dibra, not the Dibras. So what do you mean? Yeah, but since I gave over this Siman to Leah, so therefore you should be just turn a blind eye to Avodah Zarah. Why is it doing that? Tzara, Gzer, Shava? I told him in advance not to do it. How can you compare? It's one of the three Gimel Averes Chamoras. What's a taina? You gave over the Simanim, you'll get a big Olam Haba. Fine. You'll get a big stuff for it. But because of that, I should have had to never desire. When I told them in advance never to do it, and I warned them, don't do it. So what is Rachel saying? I did this, so okay, so you'll get a nice chocolate bar, a spiritual chocolate bar. But like, Mechatei should be Meichel one of the Gimel Averes Chamoras. What's the logic here? When Am Yisrael was told in advance, don't do it, and it's Yorg Val Yavor. So what's Rachel's taina? But I gave over the Simanim. Okay. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu buys it. And remember, basically in that medrash it says Avram Avinu came and said, pleaded on our behalf. HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't listen. Yitzchak came and pleaded, didn't help. Yaakov came, no. Rachel. She's the one that wanted. She wanted based on this. Does anybody have any tissue? Yeah? Shkech. No. I don't really need it. It's just a good investment. Shkech. Wow. Maybe, what, I'm sorry?
We've invested now in this space in the top shelf of Medrash Rabbah, in case you want to read it inside.
Okay, but so, Shkech. Thank you. What's Rachel's taina? So look what the Rachel's going to say here. Rachel's taina, I don't know if you're allowed to say it this way. It's a Rabbi Kiva Eger lumdus. She's saying mamash an unbelievable lumdus. I don't know if you could say on Rachel that she's saying a Rabbi Kiva Eger lumdus. On us, you say he's saying a Rabbi Kiva Eger, that's a big mila. On the Imais to say on the Avis that they're saying Rabbi Kiva Eger, maybe you're not allowed to. You know, Rabbi Kiva Eger is Achron. She's saying a meritic lumdus taina. That's what the Rambam is going to explain. At face value, it doesn't really make that much sense. I did this, so there should be taryag mitzvahs, there should be tayyab mitzvahs. Take one mitzvah out. And I told him in advance not to do it. So why should I be Meichel? Look what he's saying. Ubil inyan zeh. Ki bishvil sheyoda Rachel sheyakov ra'ui sheyiseh shtei nashim. Rachel knew from the outset that Yaakov has to marry two wives. Why? Ki ein ha'olam hazeh שהוא עולם החילוק והפירוד ראוי שיהיה הכל באחדוס. You cannot have 100% achdus in this world that we live in, which is called עולם החילוק והפירוד, divided and separated. ואם לא היה ליעקב רק אישה אחת, Yaakov Avinu would have had only one wife, Rachel, היו ישראל אחד. ולא היה יהודה מלאה ואפרים מרachel. Ephraim means the Yerovam ben Nevat and the 10 Shvatim, the split that happened in Bayis Rishon. Also, in the future, they're all going to be one. What's the moral saying? Let's explain it as much as we can in our language. Am Yisrael's role in the world is to show that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is one. That's what we're here for. How do we show it? That's another question. But that's our role. The pasuk says, "Amzu yatzarti tehilasi yisaperu." Now it says in the mitzvah in the beginning, Amzu is Gematria 13. Am Yisrael were created to show that Hashem is Echad. How do we show it? If we'll have time, we'll go into it. But that's our role. And there's something, the Achdus of Yisrael is to reflect the Achdus of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bring me a raya to that? That the Achdus of Yisrael is to reflect the Achdus of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? You all know it, I promise you. What do we say in Mincha? Ato echad, b'shimcha echad, u'mikamcha Yisrael go echad. No, but I'm speaking about Yisrael. That Yisrael's Achdus reflects the Achdus. And Tosis in Chagiga, Daf Gimel Amud Beis, the top page brings a medrash that we're not familiar with, but Tosis had it. It's Shloisha Echads are me'idim one another. What are the three there? Kadosh Baruch Hu, Yisrael, and Shabbos. The top Tosis in Chagiga, Daf Gimel Amud Beis, on the top of the page. We say in Omani Choyma, in the Shana Rabbah, Yechida liyachadach. That's the lesson over there. Omani Chama, Barak Chama, Goyla Besura, goes according to the Alves, and then when it reaches the Yud, Yechida liyachadach. Our oneness is to reflect HaKadosh Baruch Hu's oneness. But you know what? There's a problem here. Even HaKadosh Baruch Hu's oneness, it says in the Pasuk, Bayomahu, Yeh Hashem Echad U'Shmo Echad. Not now. What do you mean not now? Fact the Gemara in Pesachim Daf Nun. Ato Aidna Lav Echado? HaKadosh Baruch is not one today? HaKadosh Baruch is always one. So what does it mean by Yomahu? Yeh Hashem Echad U'Shmo Echad? And the Gemara has like two answers or two ways to bring it out. No, because today Absur is Tovas, he says what bracha? Atov Meitim. And the other one he says Dan Emes. Or the way HaKadosh Baruch is written is not the way he's pronounced. He's written Yud Ke Vav Ke, but he's pronounced Atos. That's what the Gemara says. The Gemara probably. La'asid Lavo, it's all going to be one. Everything will be Atov HaMeitim, and everything will be pronounced the way it's written. But even the oneness of Hashem, obviously HaKadosh Baruch is also one today, of course, but it's not clearly seen. There's mixed messages coming across. Michat Gisa, HaKadosh Baruch is one, but Michat Gisa, the word Olam comes from the word Nelam. Meaning, Rabbi said, what's the biggest bluff in the world? Baruch Hashem, there's many bluffs we can choose from. But what's the biggest one? Ma ha-bluff achi gadol shel habriya? That it's disguising its creator. Right? Every little thing. Look, Rabbi said, I have a pen, a very chashuv pen. I think it costs 25 pence. It says in it also, it says in it, who made it? On your glasses, on your friend, it says on your watch, everything it says. It should have been in every Alba Amos in this world, it should have said, made by God. That's what should have been. Every tree. The Gemara says, La'asid Lova, that's what's going to happen. That's what it says. The Gemara says, the Medrash says, the Medrash dealing with Perak Ein Beis says, La'asid Lova, if someone's going to try to cut off a fig from a tree on Shabbos, the tree will say, Shabbos Hayom. You can't do that now. The whole world will echo Rotzan Hashem. V'ra'u kol basar yachdav, ki pi Hashem diber. Right? The Nevuah in Nachamol. But in this world, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is there, but does the world reflect HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Yes or no? There's conflicting messages.
Yes, we just don't see it.
That's my point. We don't see it. Because it's kashas. You say a bracha on this, you say a bracha on that. It sounds like two anakas. Right? Of course he's one. Bevadai. On Shabbos, you don't say Bayom Ahu because Shabbos is Mein Olam Haba. So there, on Mincha, you don't say Ato Echad, you say, what? Yeah? You don't say Bayom Ahu. It's already announced, so to speak. But in the world that we live in, you say Bayom Ahu Hashem Echad. So Am Yisrael's role to mirror HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Achdus, even HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Achdus himself is not clearly seen in this world. Because it says Bayom Ahu. So Am Yisrael that's reflecting HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Achdus will have the same issue. It cannot be 100% one. Not shaykh. Because we live in a world which is called Olam HaChiluk v'Hapirut. There's conflicting messages to enable free will, whatever the reason will be. But that's the Mitzias. The world has its, so to speak, own existence. And it could listen to Hashem, it cannot listen to Hashem. And things come across not with 100% clarity. Says Rachel, I understood that. And therefore I understood from day one that Yaakov Avinu has to marry two sisters. I know it's not shaykh that Yaakov Avinu will have only one wife. Not dafka sisters, but it can't be one spouse. Not shaykh. Because that means all the Yud Bet Shvatim will be one. Impossible. There has to be, what happened as we know, after the Melucha of Shlomo, Nachon Yudah. What's that Geshen Dalton? That's what? Yerovam ben Amat made his, and that's from Ephraim. Yerovam ben Ephraim was from Ephraim. Ephraim is from Yosef. Yosef's from Rachel. Meaning that Rachel Leah, that's what happened later on in history. The 10 Shvatim and the 2 Shvatim. Mimela, Rabbi Yisai, Rachel's telling HaKadosh Baruch Hu the following. I understand that this world, there's a built-in disadvantage. Maybe even worse than disadvantage. There's a built-in chisaron in the Bria. That it cannot 100% reflect you and your and spirituality, and that everything's from a divine source. Yes or no? There's fingerprints everywhere, but you can deny it if you want. But it's not only you could. Look, Absurd Tov used to say one bracha, Absurd She'eno Tov used to say another bracha. It's how it's coming from two sources. That's what the Gemara says. Rocha says, I understood that. Therefore, let's go back here to the Maharal. After number 101 in the Maharal, on page 2, on the right column, in the Maharal is inserted number 101. ומפני שראתה רחל דבר זה, קיבלה באהבה. ולפיכך גם כן ראוי שימחו להשם יזבח לישראל. כי מפני שאין האחדוס בעולם הזה, ועדיין עבודה זרה בעולם, זהו שגורם לישראל לחטוא. שזהו מחיסון שהוא בעולם ומנהגוי. ולקח רחל מי מבקשת רחמים. שהרי בה נראה שהעולם הזה מסוגל שיהיה בו שניוס וצורה בעולם הפירוט, שאינו מסוגל לאחדוס. And Netzer Yisrael, the Maharal says this knach even a little bit more. Give a look over side. On footnote 100, right? And let's do it. Number 100. וזלה שלו בנצר ישראל. וכן יעקב נשא שתי אחיות. הרי מורה דבר זה שישראל יהיו מחולקים. שבט אפרים מלכוס אחד שיצא מן רחל, ושבט יהודה מלכוס אחד שיצא מן לאה. Okay, then let's go weiter. והוסיף לבאר בריש פרק למדע, בשביל שידע רחל שיעקב ראוי בפרט לזה שלא יהיה לו אישה אחת. שאם היה ליעקב אישה אחת, היה זרעו שמבית שבטים בלתי מחולקים. ודבר זה אין ראוי שיהיה בעולם הזה. שיהיו ישראל אחד. ולקח קיבלה רחל דבר זה באהבה. אף שידע רחל כי היא עיקר אשת יעקב, והיא ראויה לו בפרט, ידע גם כן שאין יעקב ראוי שיהיה לו אישה אחת בלבד. לקח קיבלה דבר זה באהבה, מאחר שאין העולם ראוי לכך. So what's the punchline of Taina? Give a look at 102, and that's in Israel, he says it even more. וזה לשונו שבנצר ישראל. אף אם עבדו ישראל עבודת גילולים, דבר זה מפני שאין העולם הזה ראוי, שיהיה בו השם אחד עד לא עשית. ולפיכך משהו טבע העולם הזה, ראוי שימחול השם יזבח. Meaning not to delete the Israel B'dazah, but judge us with Rachmanis. Because it's a built-in chisaron. Why do we fall prey for Avodah Zarah? Because the world is not broadcasting, not featuring HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Echad, Achdus. If it had been clear-cut that you see Hashem's Echad and everything comes from Hashem, no one will worship Avodah Zarah. And something which is a built-in chisaron, you got to deal with it more b'rachmanis, not delete it, not say it's heter. But what Baruch is telling HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I'm willing to pay the price for the fact that this world can't be, it's olam achilik v'pirut. You're not willing to pay the price? That's like a Valdiga Taina. I pay the price. I'm the one that was supposed to marry Yaakov. I'm the Ikar Abayis. And I understood it can't go like that. And I'm willing, it was very painful for me to give over the Siman to Leah. But I did it because I understand that's the price you have to pay for the fact that this world is not Olam HaEmes.
Excuse me, the wives of Yaakov reflect Olam HaEmes.
We'll come to it in a minute. Let's focus on the main point. On the main point. And then we'll go off to other issues. Nagiel is not Shvachas are extension of the Gviras. Bila is an extension of Rachel. And now maybe this is what you're asking, Cheskel. What about Yitzchak? He got married to one wife. What would you answer, guys? What? It's not Am Yisrael yet. He still has Esav. He still has Esav. But when Am Yisrael starts with Yaakov, Avram Yongel, Yitzchak Yiranen, Yaakov, Uvanam. He goes together. Right? The boy side. Let's bring the Atlas liquid. I want to ask the question. Tell me if it's a kasha or not. I thought Rachel gave over the Siman to Leah, not to embarrass her. That's what says in the Gemara in Megillah. And here it says she gave her the Simana because the world can't be one. So I'm very confused. What is it? It's two separate reasons totally. Shalot tikona machosi. That's what it says in the Gemara in Megillah. And then here it says that no, I understood the Yaakov Avinu cannot have only one wife. That means all the Shvatim will be one. And Am Yisrael, which is supposed to reflect the Kodesh Baruch Hu's Achdus, which is not clearly seen in this world. So Am Yisrael is going to be clearly one. You can't be more than the source. So is it because not to embarrass her? Because I understood that, that's how it works in this world. You got to pay the price for the built-in chisroinus of this world. But Rabbi say it's not a kasha. I'll tell you why.
Isn't it the Kabbalah Ba'avo, which is because she saw it?
But,
She didn't
but,
have to do it anyway. She would have done it to not embarrass her sister, but she did it Ba'avo.
that's a shot. She would have done it anyway, but she did it ba'ava. Okay, you could say that. Fine. But I think you could say more glata teretz. Rabbi said we spoke about it many times already. What was the moral justification for Rachel to do what she did? She has an agreement with Yaakov. Yaakov said, your father's going to try to do monkey business. And that's exactly what happened. No surprises. Exactly what he was afraid of that would happen, happened. And he says, I want to protect myself. And let's make some money because your father's prone and susceptible, big words for someone like me, to do it. And he made some money. By the way, he's not the one embarrassing Leah. It's Lavan embarrassing Leah.
She wanted to avoid it.
But Yaakov said, I know this is what's going to happen. I want to make some money. How could she ignore that? What's the legal and moral right to do it? You could be a tzaddik on your own cheshbon. You can't be a tzaddik on Yenam's cheshbon. It's a question everybody asks. And it's considered the biggest deed ever in the history of mankind. That she gave over the Simon to Leah. Like you see in this Medrash. It's even more than Akeda. What is the moral, legal justification? You have an agreement with someone. He's allowed to say, I want to marry A and not B. He's allowed to say that. The one who's the Ganav and the Ramai is Lavan. And he wants to protect himself. Is there anything wrong with that? What would have been? What do you think Yaakov told her when he met her the next time? When he told Rachel? I know what I would have said. But again, I'm an American Israeli, so that's a very bad combination. But even you British guys, what would you say?
Excuse me.
What'd you do? We had an agreement. Why'd you stab me in the back? But you see, Muchach, that's not the case. Because when Yaakov saw in the morning that's Leah, and Akim would say goodbye, and it's a mistake, you don't even need a get if it's a Mekachtos. It's supposed to be Mekachtos. Shalom. It's clear that they all understood that Yaakov has to marry from the beginning Rachel and Leah. That was Barur. The Simonim were done just to which order will it be done? Who will be first, who will be second? Yaakov wanted Rachel to be first, for Rachel's sake. Because, like we know from the Ramban, whoever will marry first will live in Eretz Yisrael. Whoever marries second won't. The famous Ramban in two places in Chumash. So he did this to him, not, I want to marry you, I don't want to marry Leah. That's not the pshat. Like the Baal says over here, they knew in advance he's going to have to marry two. Whatever Rachel knows, also Yaakov knows. But he's allowed to say, I want you first, and she's second. By the way, there was a week apart that they got married with each other. Right? This Sunday, next Sunday. That's what happened. The 7 years came later. And therefore, Rachel said, well, he did it for me. I see. I can be wicked. I see it's going to be very tremendously embarrassing for my sister. Okay. But to bring in someone that Yaakov doesn't want, you can't do that because you don't want to embarrass your sister. So it's a combination. What the Rav saying is lays down the foundation. This is how it started. They knew that Yaakov was going to have to marry both of them. Ein ma ledaber. The question is who's going to be first, who's going to be second. That's what the Simonim were for. Yes.
It doesn't come back onto Maral that the Maila of Rachel's actions was not Mesiras HaSamon, it was accepting that Leah would also marry Yaakov. Wouldn't it matter what order it was in? She was not necessarily Besa first or second. It doesn't make a difference.
No, I'm just trying to answer how does it work. What did she
I
get?
understand, but that's not what the Maral said.
I don't think it's I don't think it's a kasha. She understood it has to be done anyway, and that meaning she understood that there's no way to avoid it. So therefore, we're minimizing a little bit, mitigating. You're a lawyer, mitigating. Again, what does mitigating mean, by the way? Make it less. Right. It's giving the background what happened here. But unfortunately, it's a big issue to remember. This world cannot feature the emes till the end. It's called Olam HaSheker. It cannot feature emes till the end. That's what this world's about. There's a limit. How much we got to in the sheker of this world to know this is the emes. This is not the emes. But to say that the world, the whole bria should feature Hashem is one, Hashem is one, Hashem, it won't. It cannot do it. It's already from the beginning, the first pasuk in Chumash. Beishis Balgim v'Altzit Tov v'Vo v'Choshech Apnei Tayam. That's Chesroinus. That's part of the game. It's a little bit distant from Hashem to enable free will, whatever the reason is. This world is not a platform to broadcast Moshe Emes for Soros Emes. The Bnei Korach could say in Gehenna, but not in this world.
Even before Chait on the Moshe?
I don't know. And Mashiach will be different. So maybe it will be good, maybe not. But we're speaking about the world today. Okay? So Mimela, Rachel saying, if I'm paying the price, I'll give you a dugma. If it's something which is built in, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu has more rachmim. Avak l'shanah. So it says the Maral, throughout the year, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to do tshuva and avak l'shanah because it's inevitable. The kulam avak l'shanah, the Gemara in Babas over there. On Yom Kippur, we do daka mina daka because we're malachim. So we somehow can maybe even avoid avak l'shanah. But something which is part and parcel of the bria, built into the bria, HaKadosh Baruch Hu should have rachmim. That's what Rachel's just saying. Have rachmim. Have rachmanis. Don't judge them so severely. It's a flaw in the bria, which has to be done, and there's a price for this flaw. That you have to allow rival. What's the word? Rival. Yeah, very good. Right? You have to allow it. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu, there's Avodah which is a little bit competing with you. And there's Leah. That's what happens. So then HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Rachel, that's checkmate. That's a checkmate, Taina. I have nothing to answer that. And the other others were coming to say, look what kind of great deeds I did. Fine, because of great deeds. Rachel's saying, Minei Ubei. It's not just a great deed, but this is the price tag that you pay for the fact that Olam cannot feature and show that Hashem is one. So there's Avodah Zarah that people could fall into, and that's what it is.
So
So
how does that answer your question about the Russian and the begin the Russian in? So how does that answer the Russian from the Medrash, the Russian begin?
listen, what?
You're saying how you're being masquerade. How do you fit into the Russian of the words of the Medrash or the Russian?
Of the Gemara that says not to embarrass her.
Yeah.
So again, it's two different points. Again, this is just explaining that they both have to get married, and she understands that Leah's going to come in. But okay, so why did they do the simanim if they understood this? To make the order. She was Michael on the order, not to embarrass her sister.
So that's
Once I communicated to order, so then I could say, okay, that she could do. That's like she could say, "Ef you did it for my favor. You did it for my sake. I'm Michael. You did it for me. But this Nakuda, this world. What? There is a punishment because we do have free will, but don't judge it so severely. With rachmim, have rachmim, not to let go and say it's mutter, chas v'shalom, but to understand where it's coming from. It's built in. Once it's built in, it's part and parcel. You know the difference of where you say you're too young, maybe air conditioner that's added to the car afterwards, aircon, you call it there. An aircon that's added to the car once the car's already in there, or built-in aircon. Do you remember that, guys? The built-in aircon? Okay, it's part of the car. If it's built in, it's part of the car. If there's a car, then you have the aircon. Good. What do I say? Now the Ram's going to add another knight. Okay? It's like usual. He's going to say another point, which is the same point. Let's go on a bit weiter. The third line in the left column on page 2. On page 2, the left column, the third line. On page 2. It says 2. Yeah, okay. You see the number, guys? It's not so clear. I see. Okay, good. שאם לא היה מסדר העולם, אם לא היה מסדר העולם, ועניין שהוא נוהג להיות בצער, if it's not built in, לא היה דבר זה לאובס. How could the ovus have a tsar? Particularly Yaakov with Rachel. שהרי האובס לפי שם אובס העולם, הם עיקר מציאס העולם. They are the blueprint of the בריאה. וכמו שנסבר פרשת וישלח המלאכים, שהאובס הם עיקר העולם וסדר של העולם. וכיוון שמצאנו שהיה עניין שלהם להיות להם צרה, כמו שהיה לרחל, אם כן עניין זה ראוי לעולם הזה. So meaning, Rachas bring out, this happened by the Ovis, which are the roots and the foundation of the Bria. If it's a typo, it wouldn't have happened by the Ovis. The Ovis represent the Seder, just like we know the Torah is the blueprint of the Bria, the Ovis are the blueprint of the Bria. Maisa Ovis Siman Labanim. Whatever happened with the Ovis will be reflected afterwards by the Banim. By them, it's the shorish of everything. If it happened there, that means it's part of the shorish of the Bria. It's not something, oh, I'm sorry, it's a mistake. It's shaykh be'etzem. Okay? And she's bringing it right from them. So why is Rachel the only one crying? Because she's the only one that has this tefillah to show. They all want to cry, but the one who will be successful in begging Hashem, please be Moichel, it's only Rachel. Because she's showing, I paid the price myself. Because what caused them of Israel. So it's not, I did something good here, so give me this there. It's not what she's saying, Rachel. It's Minei Ubei Lishitasa Hi Gufa ha ha he hu. Zazeh. That's what the Mel's Muhammad share. Okay. Now, let's go again to show that childish understanding won't be enough. So Rachel can't be buried in Mas Machpelah. Why? Because she has to be there when they're going to go by. She's not listening, and she's not alive anymore. It's on a regular hearing. She's in the Shemayim, so she can hear it also Mas Machpelah. No, she has to hear the noise, the people going by. Over there in Bethlehem, we know how it looks like. They're going to go by there, with the wagons and the trolleys, and she wants to be there. So if it would have been a regular hearing, I can understand. When you're nearby, you hear it. When you're further away, you don't hear it. At our age, even if you're nearby, you don't hear it so much. Fine. Shlomo, you agree, right? Yeah, good. But this is not a regular hearing. This is a rechnistic hearing. She's not alive then. She was buried in Rachel. He lo chaya. Even hearing aids won't help at that stage. So she has to be there so she could hear it. Come on.
It's not for that. She was here for Yisrael to have some.
No, but it says, okay. It says it's wait to give us chizuk. That's what it means. Okay. And the fact that there shall be another 10 kilometers down the road, Mas Machpelah. Be'etzem. Right? That's the Nakuda. What does it mean here? So let's go down to the second part of the Mal. What does it mean? She's buried on the way that she should hear them. The truth is that's Lashon Rashi. The childish understanding. You oivrim derech sham. They're going to go by there. Yatzat Rachel Akiva. It says that Rachel's that.
Isn't it a chelik of it? The reason she's not in Maras Machpelah is because of that. Because of what she did, that's why she's stuck.
If you want to connect it to the Ramban.
It's not about her.
To the Ramban, yeah.
It's not about her being there. It's about what the Yidden will do.
No, again, but that's not what Rashi's saying. You're saying the Jewish people are going to get inspirational uplifting if they're going to see her kever on the way out. Okay, Oshigen Oshalo. It doesn't say it's a chizuk for the Yidden. It doesn't say that. But what the Michal is saying is on the way. But again, just to show that babyish understanding doesn't work. I'm sure that's all we all understood until now. That's all I understood until now. She's going to be buried there, and she's going to see them going through, and she'll be awakened and start praying on our behalf. That makes sense? It doesn't. It's not a regular hearing. And Maras Machpelah is not so far away. I know. It's not like Australia. The Ramban speaks about it in this week's Pasha. He says, I thought once, let's keep us there, get that to know. He says, but now I came to Eretz Yisrael, I see it's very close to each other. The Ramban says it. He's from his own experience. What keep ourselves avoid flata? And then he says, I thought it's here, there, then I came, I saw pretty close to each other. A half a day walk, he says. So what does it do that she's not buried there, but she's buried here?
Especially in the Medrash Eicha Rabbah, isn't it Moshe Rabbeinu who's waking up all the office anyway to tell them to go?
Yeah, that's right. And that Medrash, 100%. When the heart, Midiuk. So let's see what the Moral's going to say on this. I would say a new definition for the Moral: anti-childish understanding. To remove all the childish understandings that we have from the age of 5. So as a 5-year-old, it makes sense you understand like a 5-year-old. But when you already have white hair, and you can't hear so well, you still understand like a 5-year-old. Nah, must be. Rabbi Yehuda, Taitano Rabbi Yehuda. Okay? When I say a white beard, I think that doesn't apply to Yehuda. I think it applies to almost everybody else here, also to Michael not. All of us, and Yitzchak's also, okay. Yeah, I understand. It's my end that we all color our hair the same color. Where's our uniqueness? One should be purple, one should be red, one should be... Okay, let's give a look. Well, yes, the Mahal's going to take care of that part also. What does it really mean that she's buried not in her place, so she'll be near them? What does it mean? Again, it's not a physical understanding, a physical hearing. It's ruchni. So what does it mean? ועוד יש במדרש, רחל מבכה על בניה, ישראל נקראים על שם רחל, ולא על שם רחל, אלא על שם בנה, שנאמר אולי יכנן על שם צבקות שארית יוסף, ולא על שם בנה, אלא על שם בן בנה, הבן יקלי אפרים. זו המדרש יש לו סוד יותר. How do you understand the two words Knesset Yisrael? How do you understand that? What does those two words mean? There's Am Yisrael, I understand. What's Knesset Yisrael? It's Chazal use it. It's a terminology that Chazal use. Also, the Knesset, when you speak, you say Knesset Yisrael, but that's okay. MPs, they all start with Knesset Yisrael. Rav Zatzal used to say that whenever he spoke to Rabban Kotler, he tried to make the conversation that Rabban will say the word Torah, because the way Rabban said Torah was he put his whole chiyas into it. So, like Rav would say, well, the boy's learning in a Talmud, and Rabban would say Torah. And then when he would speak to Rav Kook, he should say the words, Yud, I'll tell you what words. Knesset Yisrael. Whenever Rav Kook said Knesset Yisrael, he said with it. What does it mean, Knesset Yisrael? Of course, it's really a Kabbalistic term. That's that, which I know nothing about. But that's called the Midah of Malchus. The Midah of Malchus collects all the parts and makes it mechunas. That's why it's called Knesset. That koyach, the Malchus does what a house does. You know what a house does? Only when you move, you still notice, I never knew I had 1,000,001 things in my house. You know when you move? Then you notice, well, you think, what do I have? I have a table, a chair, well, no big deal. Yeah, when you move, you see it's a big deal. There's 1,000,001 little details that you didn't even pay attention to because the house makes everything in its place. And then when you start moving, you see, wow, look how many details are in this room. Take even this room. And then there's the bin, and there's the switch, and there's a bottle of water. I don't know, there's a few things here. A bayit takes all the parts and makes it into one unit. That's what a bayit does. Knesset Yisrael is that koach to take all the yidden and to form them into one group. That's called Malchus. In the sphere of Malchus. Leisle megal meklum. It doesn't have anything of its own, but it's just the kidus of everything of above. That's what it means. Rachel is called in the Kabbalah Knesset Yisrael. So what does that mean? In light of what we're learning, what would you say? What does that mean? She's called Knesset Yisrael. Again, without knowing any Kabbalah, she's called Knesset Yisrael. She's called Beis Yaakov. That we know she's called Beis Yaakov. Do you ever wonder all girls' schools are called Beis Yaakov? So it says the pasuk in Har Sinai, "Kol Tamar Beis Yaakov Elo Nashim." Why is Beis Yaakov called Nashim? Shouldn't it be Beis Sarah? Named after a woman. Beis Yaakov is for a woman. Beis Shulamis, any other names? Beis Rachel. What? Yeah, it's called Beis Yaakov. She takes all what Yaakov has and makes it into a bite. She's that connecting part. That's what a wife does. She gives the tzura to all the parts. That's called Knesset Yisrael. Again, it's a lot more than that. I know it is. But the basic. It's the Midah of Malchus, which is mechanes, all what's above. And there they all meet and gel into one. And Rachel represents that. Let's see what the Rachel is going to say. זהו המדרש יש לו סוד יותר, כי קרא כנסת ישראל, look what he's saying in black and white, כי קרא כנסת ישראל רחל. And the one with the footnotes didn't say what he's referring to. Okay, it was in the beginning of braces, you don't know yet what he's doing. To be perfectly honest. כי קרא כנסת ישראל רחל, where? איפה כתוב כך כנסת ישראל רחל? This is straight from the Zohar HaKadosh. Straight. לפי שרחל עקרת הבית של יעקב, והכל תפל אצלה. Everything, תפל means not only secondary, but everything will be connecting to her. ולקח היא כמו בית יעקב, ונקראת כנסת ישראל, שהם בית יעקב על שמה. ובזכות רחל ישובו לגבולם, להתחבר בקדוש ברוך הוא. כי פירוט זה שישראל נפרדים מעל הקדוש ברוך הוא, מפוזרים בכל הארצות, that they're separated from Hashem and dispersed in all countries. That's what Golus means, that we're far away from our root, which is Hashem. יש להם כוח המקשר ומקיים אצלם. The obvious Lord carries with it, in Golus, that koyach to one day come back. שהרי רחל היא בייס יעקב מחברת אותם, ובזכותה יהיה להם קיבוץ גמור לשוב לגבולם. ולפי כך נקברה רחל בדרך. כי דובר זהו שלא נהיה גברת רחל במראה אצל אובס, רק תהיה עם בניה. She's out of her place, that's what it means. שהיא מתייחסת אל בניה, לפי שרחל הייתה בייס יעקב גם כן. וביר כאשר הוגלו ישראל הייתה רחל מבקשת רחמים, שאין ראוי שיהיה לישראל פירוד, כי היא קיבוץ לבייס יעקב. Let's see from 107, Rabbi Yisai. דברים האלה מבורים היטב בנפש ישראל, פרק א', the beginning. כי האישה תקרא בייס. We know that's how you call a wife. מעולם לא קראתי לאשתי אשתי, אלא לאשתי בייסי, right? כי האישה תקרא בייס, כמו שאמר רבי יוסי, he's quoting the Gemara. מעולם לא קראתי לאשתי אשתי, רק לאשתי בייסי. ומפני כי רחל הייתה עקרת הבית של יעקב, כמו שאמרו חז"ל שרחל הייתה עקרת הבית, וכל מי שנקרא בית כולל ומאחד הכל, כמו שהבית כולל הכל ומאחד כל אשר בתוכו. ולפי כך נקראו ישראל השם רחל, מפני שהיא הייתה עקרת הבית של יעקב. She's that cement, that glue. וכן נקרא ישראל השם בנה, כמו שהיא הייתה עיקר, גם כבנה עיקר. That's referring to יסוד, ודוב הזה ידוע מאוד. ולפי כך אמר שנקברה רחל בדרך, שאם הייתה נקברת רחל במערה, לא היה אצל ישראל שבגולת שלהם כוח המקבץ המאחד ישראל בגולת שלהם. אבל נשאר בישראל כוח המאחד ישראל, רק שאינו פה רק בכוח. וכך רחל שהיא כוח מאחד ישראל, שכל ישראל נקראו על שמה, נקברה בדרך, ולקח מבקשת רחמים עד שישראל מקובצים בארצם לגמרי. Meaning, the point is not that she'll hear the noise, that she's out of her place. To bring out that when her sons, her children are out of their place, they're carrying her potential. They have that ability one day to come back. Because the koach that unites everything, and everything is named after her as a result, and we're all called the Bais, it's Rachel. She's out of her place to say that when Yidden are out of their place, they still have the ability to come back. They're never going to be lost. They'll always have that potential to bounce back. That potential comes from Rachel. So she's buried on the way to show that she's with her children. If she's in the marriage, she's with the others. If she's baderech, she's with her children. To say that wherever you go, you're taking my koach with you, which is the ability of one day to reunite, regel, and boom, and come back. That's the koach of Rachel. Yeah, okay, reignite. That's what it means, Rabbi say. It's a Martik and a Kudah, that this, the Kudah, meaning in the Golus itself, we have what it takes to have Geula. That's what it means. It's not that we went to Golus, it's off. We're disconnected. What the Ral says in Netzach Yisrael, Rabbi say in Perek Aleph, that the word Gola and Goal, the Gimel Lamed are shared by both, and explains why here the hay is at the end. And the Golus itself proves there'll be a Geula. Well, let's go over what the Ral says there. Ral says that there's 3 abnormalities in Golus, and they're so abnormal, they can't go on forever. Because if they go on forever, the abnormal will become normal. So it's going to stop. How could it stop? Baruch Hashem Am Yisrael will stop. That's impossible, because we have a haftacha that we're going to go on forever. Or Golus will stop. But that's going to go on forever, Golus. It's not Shach. What are the 3 abnormalities of Golus? 1, we're out of our location. You know, coffee's in Brazil, oranges are in Florida, and cocaine in Colombia or Mexico, and Am Yisrael, Jews, should be in Eretz Yisrael. That's our place. We're not in our place. We're not in our natural environment. That's abnormality number one. Abnormality number two, okay, we're not in our place, but let's all be in Golders Green or Borough Park. And let's all be together in some place. A family sticks together. Why are we, the Pizor is abnormal. A family, the Maran says the pasuk, Kol ha'nachalim holchim el hayam. They meet somewhere. We don't. The Pizor is abnormal. The third thing, abnormality, every person, he said this before the French Revolution, every person, every nation, are supposed to be independent, not subjugated to others. And Am Yisrael is subjugated to Muslim. Till today, if you want to do something, you need Biden to say yes. You need Trump, but you need someone to say yes. We can't do it if we want. We're the only country that they tell us how to run the country. That's a lie. It's abnormal. These are the three abnormalities of Golus. Said Rav Moshe Shapiro Zatzal, you want to hear Divrei Elokim Chaim of Rav Moshe? Where do we daven in Shmoneh Esrei to stop the Golus? Hashimei, right? Look, there's three sentences there. Look what they're corresponding exactly. Tekah b'shoifa godol l'chei useinu, v'son nes l'kabetz. L'kabetz geluseinu, v'kabtzenu yachad me'arba kanvers haaretz, Nusach Sfarad adds, L'artzeinu, that's Nusach Ashkenaz means also without adding it. Says Rav Moshe, you see what these three sentences are talking about? Look, exactly, the three abnormalities of the Golus. Which abnormality is that removing? Shibud. We should be chayros, we should be free. That's anti what? Anti-pisser. Back to our homeland. Says the Moshe, that's what the Moshe is saying. These three psukim are these three senses are exactly parallel to the three abnormalities of Golus. Now, Binyamin, isn't that like super geschmack? Right? It makes you feel good that you're Jewish? It's Gemaldik. And also, it's other place also, in Shalosh HaGolim. Avinu Makenu Gelek Kvot Machuscha Aleinu B'mehera. Meaning you should be the king. V'kanes Nifutzaseinu Miyakasei Aretz V'aviyanu Tzir Nechel B'mina. Exactly the same phrase. I guess that's how it's going to be, Taka. Roberta, I think you could say today, all Jews in the world today are pretty free. They can practice their religion freely. Is there any place in the world you can't practice your religion? Is there any place today in the world that Jews cannot have a shul and a Jewish education? South Korea, there's no Jews there. I'm serious. Even in Iran. We are getting now a little bit more centered around central locations. Israel, America, Europe. It's not like little. And we're on the way coming back there. It's Israel. I guess that's how it's going to happen. That will be the order. The freedom we already see a little bit. Promise. It wasn't like that. That Jews could practice their religion openly everywhere in the world. There's anti-Semitism, okay, but is there any law that says you can't do it? In the Ganzerveld, tell me. Not that I know of. It's a chiddush. When I grew up, where Russia was, they don't allow communism. They don't allow practice religion. What?
China.
Are they eating there?
Yeah.
I don't know. What? So, okay. I'm sure China. But our company, predominantly, we can practice our religion all over the world. So, man, the Golus itself, sorry, I forgot the goes off. Sorry. The Golus itself shows that there's Shiraim, not Shiraim, that there's seeds of Geula. This is what Rachel means, she's barren on the way. She's out of her place because she has that ability of bringing everyone back. That's how come she's called Knesset Yisrael. Okay? On the protocol of the protocol means what they write on every word that you say? Yosef Burg. You remember Yosef Burg, Chava? You remember Yosef Burg? Yeah, the old guys. You guys don't remember him. Ari, do you know Yosef Burg? Funny. He was like the head of the Mavdal Mizrahi for 40 years. And he was from Yid. Always had a Torah to say on the Parsha. Always. And they have, I saw it. because they have one of the speeches he said in the Knesset. He said hundreds. One of them is Umafli la'asot Knesset Yisrael. He finished Asher Yotzar. And the last two words we quoted. Umafli la'asot Knesset Yisrael. That's how he starts his speech. Al Kopanim, that what's they say Knesset Yisrael, don't get mixed up with the Knesset over there. That's politics. They say, what's the coldest place in the world? The Israeli Knesset. Why? 120 below zero. Kach away. 120 pachot efes. Okay, a joke. Knesset Yisrael is a Kabbalistic concept which means Malchus, and Rachel is called Knesset Yisrael. Even the children of Leah they're minded that she's the Ikar, and they're adding to her. So therefore, what would we lose if Rachel would have been buried in Maras Machpelah? The Koach HaMa'achid would have been with us, because she's in her destination, which is with the others, not with the bunny. So we're saying it's a more thing what we're saying. It's like to take stories that we know as youngsters and to show it's really, really a lot more than what meets the eye. And that's what the Maral dedicated his life to. Be'emes. I'm selling sets outside of the room. If anybody wants to buy a set of the Maral, bakasha. Just kidding. Be'emes. I can bet 9 out of the 10 stories that we know as children, if we'd had him a chance to revisit it, so we'd probably understand some like children. No? I'll give you one more example. We gotta go. I'll give you one example. One night, Yaakovina was very tired. He was so tired. You know why he was tired? He didn't sleep for 14 years. Could you imagine how he looked like? We don't sleep one Shabbos afternoon. Look how we look like. He didn't sleep for 14 years. It's not that he had bags under his eyes. His whole face was a bag. So after 14 years, he's allowed to go to sleep. Mutarlo. Right. In those days, there were no pillows. There were rocks and stones. So he put the rocks and stones as pillows. And the rocks started to fight. And because what was the rocks come out, it's not nice to fight. And he made all of them into one. Could you say this, Rashi, over to a secular, intelligent Jew without blushing? Could you say this over to intelligent Goy? Well, maybe. Why not? Well, rocks can fight. And how come this happened only with Yaakov? What happened when Avram and Yitzchak went to sleep? Moshe, they were all in Tzadikim. When the Chofetz Chaim went to sleep, also that happened? Allah Yanech Tzadikit Rosho? And Yaakov himself, every night he went to sleep, he had this? You know, you could have a panasa just for that. You make sinks. You take a bunch of rocks every night, you get up in the morning, you have a nice sink. Chazal say it happened only that night. So what happened there? Again, it's a story that we all know as youngsters. Is there anything I can add to it today that I have a white beard? Masu. Or it's just to illustrate that Yaakov Avinu represents a Nova. Do you ever notice all big questions are answered by a Nova? It's to teach you a lesson. You should always be humble. Right? The biggest kasha of Kiveya, it's to teach you a Nova. You should always remain humble and just remember where you come from. That's what the world dedicated his life to, I promise you. Obviously, to really understand these things, it's Kabbalah. That's the Emes. That's Kabbalah. Really, really what it means, it comes from there. But it has to do with what we're speaking a little bit about tonight. It's something everything's gelling together. There's no period. So we'll end with one just joke that I heard recently in the name of Rav Hutner. Not that I heard from Rav Hutner, that would be a little bit funny. You know, in the Telz Yeshiva, there used to be 2 Rosh Yeshivas called Stein. Remember? Telz in Cleveland? Chaim Stein, Pesach Stein. They were both Gedolei Yisrael. But like in any place, if there's 2 Rosh Yeshivas, there's probably a little bit of politics. Okay. So Rav Hutner said, in the Telz Yeshivas, there are Sach Steiner. Aber jeder einer sagt, der Lai Aniach Tzadik ist Roshoi. Every stone says, it's me. Jeder einer. It's gewaltig. Anyway, we say so. We should only have service. You know, the news from Israel is not good. Today, 3 soldiers were killed. Today. Shem Yirachem. Hashem Yirachem. Okay, Chava. What we could do is to learn Torah, to daven, and to do chesed, and just to give nachas HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's how we can help. I have a feeling that the shir reached the end. I see a bunch of hats now coming up to the. Go, Rabbi, I gotta finish at 10:05. No, Baruch, when am I supposed to finish? 10:05. Okay, we'll know for next time. Rabbi, it's very cold. Everybody wear. You're right to wear a scarf. Ari, you're right. Do you have gloves?